So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my worries that I have with Black Ops Cold War Zombies, the complaints that I've seen people have so far from the little bits of information we know, and I guess, well, the problems that could arise with Black Ops Cold War Zombies. Now, I'm not a person that complains at all. In fact, none of this is a complaint. It's just my worries on a few bits of information that we know so far, along with some of the community's feelings as well. So far, from what we've seen, video footage, information, the game sounds like it's going to be amazing, but there are just one or two notes that I'm not 100% sure on. Obviously, until the game releases, we won't know for sure, but let's talk about them nevertheless. So my first problem is the characters. Black Ops Cold War Zombies is going to be different to previous years because this time we are no longer playing as a set bunch of characters, a crew that we play as maybe 1 or 2, 3 maps like the Transit crew, or like the Primus and Ultimus crew who we played as in loads of maps, or even just the one-off map like Shadows of Evil, or we had the Call of the Dead cast, the Mob of the Dead crew. It is going to be different this time around because we no longer have set characters that we have to play as. We now go into the game with operators that we choose. It seems similar to how in multiplayer or Warzone, you pick your character in the menu, you can customize them, and then you play as that person in the game. Well, it's now the same for zombies. Just reading the official description that we were given by Treyarch, they said, in D Machine, we play as a part of Requiem, a CIA-backed international response team led by Weaver from the original Black Ops. Operatives explore a World War II bunker that hasn't only been ravaged by time. So we are playing as operatives, or you could also call them specialist characters, that are a part of the Requiem response team. There are no set playable characters, we now get to choose which operative we want to play as. And the problem I have with this personally and why it might not work for zombies is a long-term thing. It isn't just for one map or one game like multiplayer or Warzone. If we refer to the oldie for story where we've been playing as Primus, Ultimus for such a long time, when you are playing as a set cast for that amount of time, you build up an emotional bond with them, I guess you could say. You start to learn how they act in certain situations, you, I guess, know them. We've been playing as Richtof, Taku, Nikolai and Dempsey for over 10 years, so with that you can really build a storyline around your playable characters. When one of them dies, it is emotional because you've known them for such a long time. You can almost build a storyline around them because they are a part of it. They've been on this same journey, whereas if you can imagine from that time of World at War up until Black Ops 4, if we'd have played as operators, random characters that we were able to choose, there are a lot of moments that happened in the zombie storyline that just wouldn't have been possible. Richtofen's death in Blood of the Dead, if that happened with a random operator, being able to choose whatever character you like from map to map, you aren't able to build an emotional bond with them. You're not really able to get to know them. And going back to that example in Blood of the Dead, if we had operators, someone could choose to play as a different character than someone else, or maybe in the map before that, you'd play as a different character to what you did in Blood of the Dead. You're just not able to build a connection with that character if you can choose who you want. That was what was so good about Primus, Ultimus, Victus, even the Mob of the Dead crew. When you have 4 set characters that you have to play as, you can add quotes and conversations between that group, and there are certain personalities that clash and come together. If me and my 3 friends can choose different characters, play as who we want to, I don't see how there's going to be that funny conversation between them. And when we're going from map to map playing as different operators, I also don't see how we're going to be able to build a connection with them. It would have to be that the story is going to be purely told through the map instead of where before it was told through the map and the characters. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they do this. I mean, it could just be that this is only for the one map. Maybe somewhere later on down the line, we will get a set cast that we play as, but I can't see that being the case. If you take your minds back to World at War at the very beginning, we were playing as random characters for Nagda and Toten and Verrucht, but it was different back then because that was the beginning of zombies. Treyarch didn't know how big it would be, hence why we didn't have a zombie cast. But yeah, that's my first main worry really, that we are now playing as operators, characters that we choose. Some people may enjoy this, and if you're not interested in the story, then this is probably not a problem. But if you are interested in the storyline, you will know having good characters, ones that are there with you on that journey as you progress through the story, is important. Now, another thing that I've seen quite a few complaints about are the loadouts. We are now able to choose our starting weapon, which you could do in Black Ops 4. You could also do it up to a certain point in Black Ops 3. This was something I wasn't too keen on in BO4. Yes, whilst it is an option, what made zombies for me in the very beginning is you start with a pistol, it's very bad, and you build your way up. You then buy a wall weapon, you then get a mystery box weapon, you then pack a punch it, and you upgrade it to make it the best you can be. But now, using the gunsmith, you can customize your weapon. So for example, you can customize your M16, add all the attachments, quick fire double mags, you can make it an absolute monster, and then you can start with that weapon from the get-go. So that challenge of having a starting pistol, and then using the points you earn to get better weapons and upgrade them, is almost gone. Zombies will be relatively easy from the beginning if you are able to bring in your overpowered weapon from multiplayer or Warzone. Like I said, that is a choice, so if you want to play that old school way of zombies, you can do, but why would you when you can have the best weapon from the beginning? That was kind of one thing I didn't like about Black Ops 4. Zombies felt too easy from the beginning. It wasn't so bad in Black Ops 3, but I always enjoyed that challenge of starting off poor and then becoming an absolute beast. I saw a ton of people complain about that in BO4. That was something they didn't want to see return. I've seen loads of people say if there's one feature they could remove from Black Ops Cold War that they know is coming, it will be this one. Maybe it will be different to what we expect, but it doesn't sound like it. And then the final major thing I want to mention are field upgrades. Now, I'm not 100% sure what these consist of. I don't believe they've been fully explained to us. Just reading the official description they've put, outside of weaponry, players can deploy field upgrades as proactive abilities that add another layer to squad-based tactics. Charge them up by killing zombies, then deploy them in times of desperate need. From offensive buffs to abilities that aid in evasion or healing and reviving. These field upgrades are made fit to numerous playstyles and situations. Now, we don't know what the field upgrades are exactly, that we haven't been told, but just going over to the leaks that we had, if you don't want to know about these, then click off the video now, but it did say that specialist weapons would be returning. Now, specialist weapons weren't mentioned in the official description, but could the field upgrades be the specialist weapons just reworded? We haven't had field upgrades in zombies before, and the field upgrades that we have in BO4 or Modern Warfare do work like specialist weapons would in zombies, although some of them aren't weapons. But the specialists that we had in BO4, such as the Ragnaroks, the Death Machine, Takio's Katana, the Flamethrower, well, yes, they were fun. Similar to how you can choose your starting weapon, it also made the beginning of zombies very, very easy. And not only that, but whenever you were in a tough situation, you always knew you had a lifeline where you could quickly whip out your specialist weapon and then use it to get out of a sticky situation, so you never really had to worry as much. There wasn't that fear factor that zombies used to have, that you could die at any given moment. Specialists isn't something I'm too fussed about. I know a lot of people didn't like them just because of how easy it made it, but they were also quite fun at the same time. The field upgrades could be something totally different, but it does say we use them in times of desperate need by killing zombies, and then we get different abilities from offensive to evasion and things that will help in healing and reviving. So maybe when we see all of the field upgrades, they won't be a problem. And then two little things I did want to say is, one, there were rumours that the Pack-a-Punch is buildable. As long as it's nothing like the transit Pack-a-Punch system, it being buildable is fine. Just don't make me have to go back and forth to open up a room to access it. And then the other rumour was there are loads of bosses. We did kind of see this in the trailer. This was one of my issues with Black Ops 4. Every round there was not one, not two, sometimes 3 different bosses, even 4. Voyage of Despair was an absolute nightmare for this. Like I said, we did see quite a few in the trailer. Hopefully this doesn't get too annoying, but I just wanted to make this quick video to address quite a few complaints that I've seen people have and just say my worries on what I've seen. There are tons of good stuff. I'm super excited for the gameplay, the weapons, the graphics, but you know what? At the same time, you are also allowed to address some little worries that you might have. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts about these in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Drop a like rating, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.